It's time to play the show. The bell has rung, and that big show might be over. But it's time for us to bring wrestling information you can enjoy with the match predictions, analysis, the ups and downs of professional wrestling, all reaction, some beverage drinking to bring you logic on tap with your good brothers. It's time for you to look into the eyes of Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder on Beer, Blues, and BS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a Triple B wrestling review of All In 2023. I'm your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing better now that we're here and we got this thing actually rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's a long train running, as some people may say. But it's officially here. It's on the tracks. I don't know how long it's going to go down the tracks, but we'll make the thing happen. So, yes, Howard, how are you doing?
I'm glad to be here. We've missed a couple of these shows, at life, but man, chaos is my life, Kidder. I kid you not. Like, I had probably one of the most stressful times trying to get dinner on the table for my kids tonight. Like, as soon as I stepped in the kitchen, it was like one tantrum after another. Finally get dinner done, get everybody fed. Everybody's starting to relax. Junior has an accident. We're still working on potty training. So I clean up the floor. I'm like, okay, you head to the bathroom. I'm going to go get you pajamas because it's close enough to bedtime. We'll just load you up in pajamas. I run upstairs to get his pajamas. I no more than close his drawer and about to head downstairs. I hear this loud crash and then crying, and I go running all the way down. Poor guy was stepping up onto the stool that we have from the bathroom. The stool slipped out from under him. The guy took a face right to the toilet. Blood everywhere. He's okay.
So you started AEW's All In early. Blood everywhere.
Wow. This is if you're doing AEW All In 2024, then yep. We started early. We started with a hardcore match. Hey, backstage bathroom brawl, if you will. So yeah, it's been a day, Kidder, and I'm glad we get to sit down and chat about this show.
Well, me too. And Lazy Goalie has joined the chat.
Nice.
On Twitch. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. You can join us on either of those, and thanks for joining us wherever and whenever you might be, because we don't really know where we are either. So, All In 2023 AEW, you see it here on the graphic. It was nice for me anyway, because it was earlier in the day. I was actually awake. Things didn't really get in the way either of being able to watch it, and so there was that, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of nice in that regard.
Yeah, and we get to start this show earlier because it's only like 9:41, and normally we'd have like another 2 hours before we get to start this show. So, which is good because I got to get up in the morning. Normally we have like another 2. So, but Kidder, it wouldn't be a Triple B anything if we didn't start. I get up in the morning. Normally we have like another. The one that even makes it onto the show. It is everybody's favorite. What's on tap, Kidder? What you having tonight?
Oh, well, let's see. What should I have? Well, a plethora of beverages stored up over here. Since we're going over to Europe, I might as well have a Finnish long drink. Let's go with that, shall we?
Good choice.
Got a couple of those, so we'll have that. For those of you who have not seen or heard of this, it's the Finnish long drink, the somewhat traditional citrus drink gin with natural grapefruit and juniper berry flavors, and then some carbonation made for the 1952 Summer Games in Finland. More info on a few episodes back of the actual show, Beer Blues and BS.
You know, Kidder, you've really taken to drinking that. You know, when I first had it on the show, you were like skeptical.
I bought like a 12-pack or 6-pack or whatever it was, so I got to drink them.
Yeah, well, I guess that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, still good choice. It is Howard's official drink of the summer, so good choice. Good choice.
Yes.
I, Kidder, am going to be going down the path that I usually do when we do these All In, or well, basically any AEW review. For those who don't know, my life is so busy, I don't get to keep up with wrestling as much as Kidder does. I especially don't get to keep up with AEW. So all of my guesses tonight, because we play a little prediction game. Kidder and I have been doing this now for years. We try to predict the winners of the match. We see who gets the better score at the end of it, and they get bragging rights. You know, the defunct pay-per-view that we now pass back and forth because why not? But anyway, Kidder, since it's an AEW show and I know absolutely very little about anything going on with AEW, the storylines, or where they're going with anything, it's time for everybody's favorite drink for Howard to have on these. That's right. I got some butterscotch schnapps and a shot glass, and for every wrong prediction, I'm drinking. So, oh boy, that's what we're doing tonight. So, and if I run out of this, I have a backup. So, I seemingly have lost Kidder's audio.
Right. I had to mute myself to make sure that our audio was working. I said, what? Is it backup? Is it ice hole?
No, I was out of ice hole, which is why I'm rocking the Dr. McGillicuddy's butterscotch schnapps.
It's really gone downhill. Great.
Well, I picked this up when I was in Dickinson, and they didn't have ice holes, so this was the closest I could get to that. If we get to that, if I for some reason manage to drink all of that, I still have some Western Sun prickly pear vodka down here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we got. But with that said, Kidder, I've kind of explained the prediction game and all of that. So AEW pay-per-views tend to be long. I think we need to jump into this show and get the reviewing going.
Sure. Basically, I wanted to share, because Rude Boy is in the chat on the Twitch side. It's showing up on the side of the screen over here. So those of you watching this, I guess on either feed, you can actually see it. And support the show, too, while we're doing this. BeerBluesBS.com. And you can also go to streamlabs.com/BeerBluesBS and donate to the show or visit our merch store there. We would certainly appreciate it. So Rude Boy's having a Jim Beam and Coke. That's what's on tap for him tonight. And also, he's saying I'm a gin man's now. I just said just to finish the gin because it's a Finnish drink.
That was a long road you took to explain that.
Yeah. Well, Anyway, I'm just going to type a message here. There it is. Help support the show. Thanks. So, it is AEW All In. It's live from London, England, Wembley Stadium. They were expecting about 80,000 people to be in attendance. The official attendance on this actual pay-per-view recorded as 81,035 people. Very happy that they could squeeze all those people in there. Mm-hmm. First match opening up the show, as part of our 11-match coverage tonight. It's Aussie Open featuring Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher versus MJF and Adam Cole. Better Than You, baby. I picked MJF and Adam Cole, Better Than You, baby, to win the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Your call.
I'm going to go with the same. The one little thing that I have picked up on AEW in the past few weeks is that the MJF Adam Cole tag team has been pretty popular. So I know they didn't win the actual AEW tag team titles, so maybe this is the consolation prize and a way to keep that tag team going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my guess.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I have to say that it was a good one. 7 minutes, 45 seconds. Lots of back and forth, lots of crowd interaction because what they've been doing is getting the crowd behind them and kind of helping them choose what to do. They had a promo earlier. It was actually not this past week, but the week before, where Adam Cole and MJF went to Outback Steakhouse, of course, the greatest steakhouse on the planet. And they were learning about Aussie Open, because that's the best way to learn about an Australian group is by going to an Outback Steakhouse, right?
Seems like a legit method of research. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So apparently in real life, Outback wanted to sponsor MJF and give him free bloomin' onions for a year or something like that.
That's a lot of bloomin' onions.
Yeah. That's a lot of bloomin' onion. Anyway, like I was saying, a lot of back and forth. At one point, MJF did the kangaroo kick and took out both of them. The big thing with Adam Cole and MJF was the double clothesline. And, of course, yes, they got the double clothesline. So, the crowd went nuts. They were, really strong on emphasizing their friendship during the match. So that was kind of nice. In addition to that, the crowd got really fired up, really behind them. And huge result, 7 minutes, 45 seconds, a pretty quick match. So the nice thing with this, it was over very quickly. The winners and new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Better Than You, baby.
All right. A point for each of us as we start off the night. Mm-hmm. No drinking for Howard yet.
Yeah. So, aside from that, I did want to mention the graphics look very good. Lots of pyro. Always happy to see the pyro. I'm very, very excited when I get to see a bunch of pyro. Let's see. Aside from that, the graphics look very nice, like the lower thirds and the transitions and the match setups with the talent in them. Those were very nice. Rude Boy Kyle joined in with 3 extra pyros to top off the pyro.
But the question is, was there pyro?
There was extra pyro.
Wow.
I like it. If you're wowed by that, I have some breaking news for you.
Oh yeah. What do you got?
The skywalk at UND was torn down.
No.
I know you're not gonna believe this, but on top of that, McVeigh was torn down, is rebuilt, it's open. West was torn down, is going to reopen, and the whole campus is just different now.
I mean, you keep hitting me with this bad news. I'm going to have to start drinking. You know, that's about all I can take, man. Stop.
Oh, well, get this. The whole Walsh complex is torn down, too. Yeah, whatever. If you're wondering what we're talking about and you're joining us, thank you, number one, for wasting some time with us. But number two, you'll see more of that on our regular show, Beer, Blues, and BS. Please subscribe. Please like. We'd appreciate that and more. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. What else do you want to talk about of that match? Any thoughts?
I mean, it was a quick opener. It'll be interesting to see what this does for the main event later to come. Unless you surprise me and tell me that wasn't the main event.
Oh, well, breaking. No, I'm just kidding.
That because I have heard that, you know, MJF has not done a lot with the title, and therefore it's you know, if there was something better, that could be the main event, but
yeah. So the interesting thing with that is, he hasn't wrestled many championship matches. And even in the promo leading up to this, he says, "What, you want me to wrestle twice in one night? I barely wrestle once a month." So that apparently was, you know, a jab
True.
at himself. Like what? So, yeah, anyway. Lots more pyro. Rude Boy hopefully bringing more pyro too. So, that's that was good. In case you're wondering what else I'm doing, I'm trying to find my other information as to the other pieces of things that happened. I do want to mention in the pre-show and several times during the show, there was somebody in attendance. Would you like to guess who was in attendance? And I will not just make you openly guess wild, wavy, whacking, inflatable, flailing, arm tube man at all. No, it was a female. Who do you believe, or if you want to take the guess, who do you think was in attendance there? They showed several times throughout.
My guess, unfortunately, the name she's currently using is escaping me, but would it be Sasha Banks? Was she there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné.
There it is.
Because you can't just use money. Because she likes money. It's Monet. I don't know where she was sitting in the arena, but it looked at one point like she was up in the nosebleeds.
I mean, you know, if you didn't want to be recognized as being at the show, you know, good spot in the nosebleeds. Oh. Well, Kidder, while you're trying
extra thoughts, yes.
Yeah, well, while you're doing that, allow me to stall and I mentioned, the other wrestling news that's been out this week that's been big, and that is the loss of both Terry Funk and of Bray Wyatt. You know, both of those stories. Terry Funk, not so much shocking the world. I mean, he was up there in age and such, but I think Bray Wyatt's passing came much more as a shock to everybody. I have seen some of the clips from SmackDown this week, and I actually thought they did a nice job paying tribute to him, which is, you know, WWE sometimes not the best at the tributes. You know, sometimes it's just like, and here's a little card, and that's it. You know, sometimes they'll at least do the 10-bell salute, but this had him kind of worked in and kind of almost as a theme for the night was kind of honoring him. So I thought it was really well done, and I even saw who the producers were on it. It was Rude was one of them. Bobby Roode was one of them, and then the name's escaping me who the other one was, but yeah, did a lot to work
if you
with.
know, type it in the comments.
Yeah, it's been a long day, and you know there was blood and
Howard says
such.
it's been a week.
It has been a week and will be a week next week too. So, but yeah, I mean, shocking news on kind of the loss of both of those individuals, and I'm really sad and disappointed. I know his return wasn't the greatest, but I was at least intrigued. I wanted to see. I've always been intrigued by Bray Wyatt from the first time I kind of saw his shtick. You know, I liked it. I know some people didn't like it right away, but I enjoyed it because it was different. It wasn't the same old, you know, I'm going to see you in the ring on Friday, brother, and I'm going to beat you down. You know, it wasn't that. It was, you know, it was different and weird and odd and, you know, just the whole kind of cult-like following that. And I liked The Fiend. I loved the Firefly Funhouse stuff. That was all fantastic. You know, the matches are probably the weakest part, you know, and I think that they just didn't really know how to book that character always the best. But overall, truly just I was intrigued. Like, it intrigued me enough. Like, I was excited. I wanted to find out what is the mystery behind Uncle Howdy and all of that. Like, I mean, I guess I know it was Bo Dallas portraying him, but like, there's a story kind of behind all of this. And even in a lot of interviews, you know, Bray would say that like everything that he said had meaning behind it. There was no wasted line, you know, it was all hinting or meaning towards something. And so that's, you know, a level of genius. And there's some of that has allowed the internet to sit and try and pick apart what he has said and try to pick out the meaning and all of it. It's interesting. So, yeah. To not get the rest of the lore is kind of, you know, is a sad aspect of this, from my side.
It'll be mysterious for the end of time until somebody finds his notes or something. But to go off of that, AEW also paid tribute to both of them during the show. In fact, on Collision, which was recorded earlier. So I think it was recorded Thursday or perhaps even Wednesday. Nah, Dynamite was live, so probably Thursday it was recorded. And CM Punk, and they had a couple other things of remembering Terry Funk. So there was that, but then they also made audio mentions, and FTR had Terry's name and also Bray's name. And they mentioned him as Bray Wyatt, interestingly enough.
I think that was probably just because that's how most of the audience would know him, you know. So that's even why I used that instead of his actual name as we were talking about him, just for the ease of everybody to recognize it.
Yeah. So, yeah, shock to the wrestling world, especially because Bray was 36 and Terry Funk was, I think, 79. So, a couple people now gone. And on top of it, Bob Barker passed away at 99 yesterday.
Yeah. Arlene Sorkin passed away today, and I know you're going to go, who? Best known, at least in my world, Batman the Animated Series. She was the first voice of Harley Quinn, and her performance is what helped bring that character into the mainstream of what it is now. So there you go. So
fantastic.
Yeah, tough week. A lot of loss. So, but all right, kidder, we need to try and lift everybody's spirits now. We've hit the sad notes. So, what was match number 2 this afternoon?
Well, of course, what I should mention is what do we got here? Made it so close to $1 as he would get without going over. Yes, Bob Barker, may he rest in peace. Almost got the $1. I think it would have been better if it was 100 because then he would have had the $1. But yeah, Anyway, so we're still on the 0 hour pre-show. And it was nice. They really only did the 2 matches on it. So we had the first match that we just talked about. And the second one is for the FTW Championship for the FTW Rules match. And the champion, Jack Perry, i.e. Jungle Boy. It does not go by Jungle Boy anymore. Versus Hook, Taz's son. So
Boy, that's a tough one.
I picked Hook because Jack Perry ended up saying that he was going to retire it yesterday on Collision, but during the ceremony, Hook came in and destroyed Jack Perry. So then he was going to retire it during this show. Get rid of the FTW belt.
That's a tough one. Before you said that, I was totally going to go with Jack Perry because he hasn't had the title all that long, and so it'd be weird to move it on him. But I don't know that you want to get rid of this title. I know it's not like their most prestigious in that, so I'm going to go with Hook. You convinced me, kidder.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with Hook.
Well, it started out that limo arrives. Jack Perry's in there, and it wasn't like a stretch limo. It was a British limo. And then basically they started the fight right away. Perry did a rolling senton off the roof of the car, and then Hook suplexed Perry into the windshield of the car. Basically, they mentioned that he was making fun of RVD because Jack Perry fought RVD 2 weeks ago on Dynamite. Beat RVD. RVD still wrestling. They ended up making it down to the ring. They were suplexing each other. Jack Perry missed the moonsault. Hook hit a trash can on Perry's head. Got the Redrum choke and the 1, 2, 3. No, it was a tap-out victory. Hook bringing the FTW title back home.
All right. I mean, it doesn't sound like a terrible match.
It was
Doesn't
14
sound like
minutes long. Nope, sorry, 8 minutes, 20 seconds. I'm looking at the next match.
Yeah, as I said, it doesn't sound terrible, but doesn't really, I don't know, doesn't sound like a barn burner, but I'm going to be out in Medora with nothing to do tomorrow evening, so I might watch the replay of 0 Hour and check out these 2 matches.
Worth it.
Yeah. I mean, you've sold me at least on that much. Usually when we do this, I always say, "Oh, I'll have to go check out that match." I never do, but
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the par for the course for me. So, Man, I can't even get my words out, and I have yet to have a drink.
I know. It's like if Rude Boy were to not have a drink, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for the actual show. Are you ready for the show?
I mean, I thought this was the show.
Noises. Something happened. We got something. Something happened. Ah. The missus just purchased $25 a beer.
Wow. Well, thanks.
That's a lot of beer.
That is a lot of beer. I appreciate it.
So now she has joined Rude Boy's name in scrolling as now the only two people who have ever donated to our show.
Donate to the Triple B. Your name will live for eternity in slow scrolling motion.
Yeah. She also donated through our regular Buy Us a Beer at beerbluesbs.com.
Oh.
That one just doesn't make the bring sounds and then scroll in eternity. So
No, but on the next episode, she'll get a whole cheers thing. So, yeah. Kudos.
Wonder if she left us a message. I guess we'll find out.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, mystery.
In 1 to 8 weeks. Rude Boy says that they need a 30-minute replay show to make the Howards of the world enjoy wrestling while life happens. Yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I can get down for like, here's This Week in Wrestling in 30 minutes. I mean, that would work.
Yeah. All right, so more pyro. Love it. Then opened it up with Samoa Joe versus CM Punk for the AEW Real World Championship. I, of course, chose Smart. The best in the world. Tuscan 2's Jr. I mean, CM Punk.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe CM Punk has never beat Samoa Joe, is the storyline I heard. Is that?
They had a match on, I think it was the, what was it? No. Might have been the premiere of Collision. And it was, labeled as the first match. And I think that CM Punk beat Samoa Joe.
I think that maybe was from like their before AEW time. Like if you're...
Oh, yes. The Ring of Honor time, Samoa Joe had all of the victories over CM Punk, I think.
Yeah. So
if we had
there's
fact
that.
checkers on this, they'd be really working. But
all right. Not that I want to keep agreeing with you.
Rude Boy, fact check for us while we're doing this.
But I think it's more interesting to still have Punk claiming that he's got the real title. Because they're kind of letting him be a bit on the heel side with his comeback. And so I'm kind of okay with him having that and having a little bit of a heel run until you could have that unification match. So I'm going to have to pick Punk on this one because that, to me, is the more interesting storyline than having Samoa Joe get it. I mean, he doesn't need it.
Because you think about it as well, right? CM Punk won the belt and then had the scrum and then was suspended for a while and still had the belt. So, yeah. Also have to mention that there are rumblings on the underground that CM Punk and Jack Perry had a little bit of an altercation after the FTW Championship right before the first match on the real card. Tony Khan was asked about it in the media scrum afterward.
Here, we can't hear you.
What?
You've muted. I think Google censored you. And now I think you've muted yourself.
I was starting to say facts about the show and what happened. CM Punk, Jack Perry altercation allegedly right before the first match on the real card. And then, like I was saying, Tony Khan referencing it in the media scrum at the end, of the show. But he was going to look into it, and then they were going to get to the bottom of it. So, no information as of this live show that we're doing. So, here we go. It's CM Punk, Samoa Joe. Now, Punk ended up faking a flying attack, coaxed Joe into the patented walkaway spot. Then Punk surprised Joe with a flying Hurricane Rana. You watch a man the size of Samoa Joe flying in a Hurricane Rana, it's entertaining. The slingshot plancha to the outside. Then Joe comically walked away as Punk fell down. Basically, Samoa Joe started going after CM Punk, trying to beat the bejesus out of him. Ended up throwing him into the front of the commentary desk. Broke the cardboard design that they had on the front of it. And it busted Punk open. He was bleeding all over the place. As they continued going, they mixed some homages in there to Hulk Hogan and to Terry Funk. I don't know if they knew that, but Hulk Hogan's still alive. Then Punk started getting the upper hand and put his hands on the turnbuckles to prevent a muscle buster, and then countered with the Avalanche Pepsi Plunge. It's a pretty hard looking maneuver because, it looks like it's going to snap your neck in half. Kind of snapping your fingers, snapping your neck type of thing. But what happened is CM Punk got Samoa Joe up there, and then it uses the guy's gravity as part of the move. So, got that. CM Punk over the top. 1, 2, and 3. There's the pinfall victory for the finale. Got a smile from Rude Boy out of that, so thanks. It's pretty good. Entertaining back and forth. The crowd, was cheering. A very energetic crowd, so I'm happy to see the 80,000 plus crowd really making a lot of noise and getting into it, Samoa Joe's still the Ring of Honor television champion, so he still has that to fall back on, still has momentum. Punk still getting some momentum, and, missed out on a GTS in this match, but last week CM Punk came running in as Samoa Joe's opponent. He was the Golden Phoenix, I think. Just a full cheap gold Lucha Libre suit. And he beat up Samoa Joe, so that was funny.
That was actually an homage to Los Conquistadors, which was a gimmick done by Edge and Christian, where they dressed up both like that and won the World Tag Team titles at one point, and then to reveal that they were Edge and Christian. Because, it's one of those like, hey, here's two guys dressed in gold against our champs. Clearly, this is going to be a squash match. Mm-hmm. and it was a surprise. So
Yeah.
a little bit of homage to that, and I think it was done a little bit also because there's all the rumors about Edge being done, at least with WWE. So
yep, because his contract is up. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that there wasn't a GTS on this, because I think it's Joe is kind of a heavy lift. So
yeah.
And there's a little bit of the controversy about the fact that Punk stole his finishing move from Kenta. So it's one of those where, I don't know, it might be okay for him to develop a new finisher.
No. GTS. Well, let's see. So something to think about, right? Because there's the Real World Championship, and then there's the AEW World Championship. So how do we solve that? You know what I mean? Because this match was like a grudge match.
Yeah, eventually it's going to be a unification match. At some point, you're going to have, like, either Punk versus MJF or Punk versus Adam Cole, depending on how that last match goes. Or you hold on to that for a while, depending on how long you want to build it. But eventually you're going to have that match and unify it to have a single champion. Or you just keep it and it's part of this whole brand split situation.
Yeah, they could change the belt a little bit and make something different. I don't know. Anyway, there's that. All right, next on the card, we have the 6-man tag team match. This is 20 minutes, 30 seconds long and features Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold, which features Juice Robinson, Jay White, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Don Callis, versus the Golden Elite of Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page. I chose Bullet Club Gold et al.
It's a good one. I'm going to take the Golden Elite. Our first disagreement of the night.
Wow.
And I am just honestly picking something.
So again, 20 minutes, 30 seconds long. I'm going to make this kind of quick. So the Guns were ringside as extras, I guess you could say. Don Callis joined commentary. Kenny Omega was doing a bunch of knee strikes, going back and forth to everybody, blasting everybody with the knee, and was doing kind of the BTE trigger type stuff. And then Takeshita swooped in from behind, blasted him, rolled him up for the victory. 1, 2, 3. Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita pick up the win over the Golden Elite. How's that for a quick roundup? Somebody get a drink! That's what Rude Boy says. I'm drinking anyway. So, to add to the match, there were a lot of moves. There was a lot of good execution on those moves. There were signature spots. They worked in teases to try and hook the crowd in with that anticipation. Kenny Omega and Takeshita had a showdown because they're kind of pushing those two to have a showdown. Don Callis has Takeshita as the new Kenny Omega. I guess bragging rights to keep the Don Callis feud going. It was a clean finish as well, so no shenanigans. Even though the Guns were ringside, Rude Boy would be happy for that one. No extracurricular activities.
Yeah. So, anyway, man of my word, first shot of the night.
Rude Boy's already saying that. I mean, he's not saying this yet, but he's about 12 shots in front of you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to win.
So is he.
Oh,
all right.
whew.
Next up on the card, a match that's 21 minutes 45 seconds long, and it's for your AEW World Tag Team Championships. That's right, the champions FTR versus the Young Bucks. I'm going to let you go out on a limb and guess who I picked.
I'm going to guess you picked the same team that I picked, which would be FTR, the greatest tag team in wrestling currently.
Yeah. So there is some of that in there about who will be the best tag team, who is the best tag team, and this is the third in their series of matches. Also, interestingly enough, Cash Wheeler last weekend involved in an altercation in Florida involving a road rage incident, and he apparently waved a gun at somebody else. Did you hear about this there, Jaco?
I had not, but I'm kind of curious how he did that, how he got over to England. I mean, seems like that would be something to keep you in jail.
Normally it would, yeah. Let's see. I did send it to you. It was on the 18th, so just 9 days away. Here's what happened. The 36-year-old is facing 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm. Let's see. AEW star had a hearing at 1 o'clock on that day. Wheeler was booked into circuit court based on county records. Wheeler's pled not guilty to the charge, which is considered a third-degree felony in Florida. The warrant for his arrest was filed on July 28th when he was booked into court. That is punishable by up to 5 years in prison, $5,000 fine, and or probation. AEW has been made aware of the charge, and they are closely monitoring the situation. He's fully cooperating with local authorities on that. And there are, at this time, as Rude Boy says, another Florida guy incident. At this time, there are no additional details on what that was, like what actually happened and why he was booked, taken into custody, all that good stuff. But we shall find out. And other people were bringing that up too, that, you know, he's going over to England somehow. Well, you know where the guy is going to be, right? So,
yeah. And you probably did send that to me, Gitter. I probably just didn't scroll, because sometimes you send me enough things, and I'm like, I might have only read, the first one and not realized that there was a second thing, before it.
Mm-hmm. There you go, Rude Boy. Howard is selectively reading my content.
No, it's just that sometimes I get a lot of content from you, and by the time I get around to actually looking at it, I might not realize oh, there were 4 messages instead of 3. I'm sorry.
It's all important.
Oh, okay. Note to self: immediately read everything from Kidder.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. Both of us choosing FTR. It's about legacy as the best tag team in history of time and the universe. They were going back and forth. And you know me with the Elite / the Young Bucks. But classic moves here. FTR hits a spike pile driver. The Bucks end up doing that later. Back. The first near fall came when Dax Hardwood dodged a BTE trigger and the Bucks collided knees. Cash Wheeler speared Nick Jackson off the apron. Matt Jackson was alone and FTR treated him to a BTE trigger and then hit him with the Shatter Machine. And Matt kicked out on the cover of that. There's lots of stuff in this, and of course we're just skimming through this because there's a lot of big-time moves that happened. And Lazy Goalie has to say that there's thousands of Florida Guy things in Google searches, so it just blends in. So it's understandable why you might have missed a couple there, Jake. So Bucks had their moment for a near fall when Harwood turned around into the Shatter Machine, which left Wheeler alone, got blasted by a BTE trigger. Wheeler kicked out. Finish came when the Bucks and Wheeler had Wheeler in their sights for the Meltzer driver. Harwood burst in to prevent the move, then FTR struck with the Shatter Machine and a 1, 2, and 3 after almost 22 minutes. In a huge match, FTR retains in another instant classic for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It's good stuff. Huge match. It kind of got ridiculous to the point, where they're kicking out of the huge moves to finish everything with. You got that video game finish feel to it. But very, very, very cool. Commentators were also wondering if anybody had ever kicked out of the Shatter Machine. Don't know if anybody has, but there's a lot of ridiculous things there with all of the finishers, It's kind of like as we referenced before, in the Fiend match where you have 33 finishers and he just gets back up right away. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that is kind of the thing with any Young Bucks match is, like, the finishers don't really matter, and they almost have, like, too many signature moves. Mm-hmm. Which always makes me wonder, like, how if you were doing, like, Create a Wrestler, how you would do that, because you're usually limited to, like, a signature move and a finisher. Like,
well, but remember, they are the elite, and not only are they elite, but they are producers, executive producers in the company, and so they can kick out of anything.
No, clearly not anything, because they lost this match.
As scripted. After the match, FTR offered him a handshake, and the Bucks just left him hanging and got out of the ring. And so, who knows? Maybe they're just the passive-aggressive shitheads that they normally are.
All right, what's next?
All right, we're on trend for a 21-minute, 30-second match, and the next one is the Stadium Stampede match. This is a cluster. It's Orange Cassidy, the Best Friends, Penta, El Zero Miedo, and Eddie Kingston versus the Blackpool Combat Club, Mike Santana and Ortiz. Yes, Santana and Ortiz have returned. I picked Orange Cassidy and Company.
Good pick. Good pick. I'm going to go with the Blackpool Combat Club and Crew. Mostly because I'm a point behind, and I'm not going to get that point back if I don't ever disagree with you. And also, Kidder, so far you're 5 for 5. If anybody else is keeping score at home, Kidder has yet to miss one. So
sorry, I don't have the the things up here. We don't have that technology yet. Rude Boy, I need you to update the score.
Yeah, I mean, I get it like this, but it's kind of blinding white, so
Sure.
that doesn't really help.
Perfect. Just like it's not too bad tonight. Got a little sunburn, so toning down the burn. All right, so here we go. As I mentioned, absolute insanity because this stadium is huge. There's 81,000 people there, so they're all over the place. They went split screen and it wasn't enough. I wish they would have had 4 cameras and had them a quad screen because then I could have watched what was happening. So that bothered me that you missed pieces because they're switching back and forth because something over here is happening at the same time something's happening over there and it's all over. So here we go. It was wicked hardcore. Again, hard to focus. And Rude Boy says it's a full count heading into OT and a tie break sudden death set. So everybody is pulling everything out in the show. Now, tables were busted. What else was? I think kendo sticks were used. They had a bag of tricks. Orange Cassidy at one point wrapped duct tape around his hand, the sticky side out, and dipped it in a bucket of broken glass. So then he could orange punch people with the broken glass. They were up on the upper bowl and were going through some bar, and Eddie Kingston had a beer bottle or something bashed across his head. There was a barbed wire chair that Eddie Kingston brought to beat up Claudio Castagnoli. What else do we have? The tables, as I mentioned. The funny thing about it, so Trent Beretta's mom, Sue, drove the minivan in so Orange Cassidy could get out of it on, what was that? Dynamite a couple weeks ago, or was it Collision? Anyway, it was a repeat of that. Sue ended up driving a British minivan out, handed Trent Beretta a cookie sheet tray with some brownies and cookies on it, and then they smashed the tray over Claudio and Wheeler's heads. And, of course, the first thing I said, where are the cookie gnomes? Because it was a la NDWF. And I texted Mike right away that AEW is again ripping off NDWF with the chairs, i.e. the cookie sheets. Some bitches are loud, too. Lazy Goalie gave him the full English breakfast platter. Yeah, basically. They were on the concourse. They went all over the place. There was blood everywhere. At one point, Moxley reached in the bag, pulled out a bunch of acupunctures, whatever you want to call them, needles. You want to call them needles, Jake?
Yeah, needles is a good word for it.
So, Moxley was going to take them, and he took one out specifically and had the others here, and he was going to try and bash it into Penta's head. But Orange Cassidy helped to counter that and grabbed the whole thing of them and smashed them into Moxley's head, and then started smashing them on top, so they were getting into into his head, and then he let go, and they were all just hanging there. Yeah.
As a guy who doesn't like needles, this is almost too much.
Yeah. Oh, hey, do you have your phone?
Do I have my phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, I do. Do not
let
send me a photo of this. Stop.
It's already there.
Note to self, skip the next message from Kidder.
The good thing is it doesn't really look like needles, so you're fine. Yeah, it's there. Let's see. Yeah, those skewers, that was crazy. Oh, and the fork. Moxley took the fork and scraped Orange Cassidy's head open. So he was bleeding all over the place, and then Wheeler Yuta got a hold of the fork and started doing the same thing again, hitting his face. Let's see. Eddie Kingston was going nuts. Lots of, again, blood. Claudio ended up putting Orange Cassidy into the we can't call it the Cesaro swing, so it was just the swing, and made it 21, 22 times circulations there. So aside from that, we Orange Cassidy ended up hitting the Orange Punch, and the 1, 2, 3 picked up the victory there. So OC, Best Friends, and Eddie, and Penta, El Zero, Miedo get a win over the rest of them by pinfall after 21 minutes, 30 seconds. It was all over the place.
It sounds that way, and it sounds like there were parts of this that I would not have enjoyed. I like having to take a second shot of this. So, cheers, Kidder, to now you're 6 for 6. I'd almost accuse you of cheating, but you texted me your predictions. So
I know.
Unless you're a time traveler, you're doing pretty amazing. Cheers.
Rude Boy says, "You what, mate?" Yeah, very London. Yeah. Have you finished and you've now continued to survive for our next match?
Yep. I'm good.
Okay. I'm out, but
I mean, you're the one doing all the talking, so
yeah. I have the non-alcoholic Bismarck's water. So, also want to mention, if you want to get one of these classy stickers, Beer Blues and BS help support the show. You can do that at beerbluesbs.com. Click on merch, or you can go to streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs/merch. Streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. It's in the chat, and you can help support the show. Subscribe, do the things there. Really appreciate that. And Rude Boy says, sent him into next Tuesday, isn't it? He's getting all British over there. Okay. Next is the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Women's World Championship. This featuring Hikaru Shida, your AEW Women's World Champion, versus Saraya, versus Toni Storm, versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I pick Saraya. Just as an extra piece of info, Hikaru Shida has had the title for 26 days.
I will. I'll stick with the champ then. Take a Shida.
Okay. This match 8 minutes, 50 seconds. 5-0. Okay. Here we go. So, the Outcasts. They, again, if you don't recall, because I know you don't know much / really follow AEW, the Outcasts includes Saraya, Toni Storm, and Ruby Soho. Green and black, they spray paint people a la NWO. So 2 of the 4 in this match are from a stable. Okay. So it didn't take long before Toni Storm and Saraya start arguing over who deserved the championship, right? Their friendship kind of blew up when Toni Storm accidentally smashed Saraya's mom in the face because Saraya's family entered the arena with her. Also, to mention that Saraya entered to Queen's We Will Rock You instead of her normal music zombified by Motionless in White. Anyway, Storm then became Saraya's primary focus because she was obviously mad that, you know, her mom got hit in the face. Became an actual fatal 4-way match after that. Now, Saraya and Toni Storm were going after each other, and Ruby Soho came out. Tried to keep the peace, but Toni Storm punched her in the face. She went rolling out and went off to the back. So in the end, we've now fast-forwarded to the end of the match. Britt Baker is going for the lockjaw on Shida, but she's trying to get it. Shida's moving her face, not letting her get that hold applied. They are still stuck on 1/3 of the ring. Saraya is kind of behind him and looking to try and interfere. And at this point, Toni Storm enters the ring with the belt. She's going to try and hit Saraya with the belt, but Saraya had the spray paint, sprays Toni Storm in the face, the belt drops. Saraya grabs Toni Storm, hits the inside cradle DDT. She also hit I cannot remember what it's called now. Her finisher, one of them. I'll remember it at 3:00 in the morning and then be mad and have to add it into the comments there. But if you know it, throw it in the comments, because it was something like the Dream Machine, whatever. Anyway, Saraya rolls up Toni Storm for the 1, 2, and 3. Your new AEW Women's World Champion is Saraya.
Well, gonna need a bigger bottle. That's what I'm learning this evening. I started off strong and it's not going well. Kidder, this sounds like there was some real screwy things going on. I have to ask, because it seems like the screwiest finish we've had. Is this the DraftKings screwy finish of the night?
No.
Then I take a drink.
No.
Okay. But keep an eye out for that yet. And hopefully I start getting some of these right, because I'm falling behind, man. 7-4.
Yeah. Glad that Howard Blues didn't actually go to sleep, because he's part of the show.
I was making a joke because you were trying to figure out the name of her move, and so you said Dream Machine. I went to sleep.
That's what it was.
I don't know if that's actually her move. That was
No.
yeah.
I was trying to look it up real quick, and I could not find it in the minute there. So
Yeah. No, that was my failed attempt at humor. I'm sorry. I'll try and do better.
okay. Well, next up on the card, a 16-minute match, a coffin match, in fact. Darby Allin and Sting versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage with Prince Nana. I choose Darby Allin and Sting!
I too want to choose Darby Allin and Sting, but that does not help me in the overall competition. But let's see. We've done 7 matches so far. We have 4 left. All right. I can afford to agree with Kidder on this one. I think it's Darby Allin and Sting.
Okay. So here we go. There's a foggy vignette and a dark alleyway. They announced Joker Sting. Joker Sting has also never lost a match. So, back and forth, there's lots of things happening. It's a coffin match, so they, of course, have a coffin there. Lots of misses, as in setting people up on the coffin, and then they fall off, and then the person hits the coffin. So the coffin looked more like a cheese curd than a coffin. Lazy goalie being DeJoka. He's got the little icon Joker there too, so he's being funny. Back and forth, weapons involved, attempt to put through the announce desk, and Swerve got put into the coffin, and he was trying to obviously not let the coffin close, so his hand's in the way. He had his leg out at one point, and they're putting pressure on it, but basically it just prolonged it. And then Darby Allin did a coffin drop on top of the coffin onto Swerve's spine. They had it open there. And then don't drink in math. Okay. Thanks, Howard. Hashtag not the real Howard Blues. I don't know. So they shut the lid, and Swerve stuck inside, and that was the official end. Meaning your winners of the coffin match, Darby Allin and Sting. Sting took some pretty big hits in the middle of this, and on top of it, he's 64. Like, calm down, Sting. I don't think you have anything else to prove. I thought at a couple points that Darby Allin broke his back because he had landed on the apron of the ring at one point, landed on top of the coffin at one point. I mean, the only grace. Yeah, Howard Blues seems suspect. I agree. The only thing I would say in his favor is that he lands on his entire back, so when he becomes paralyzed, it'll be because his whole back was shattered instead of just, a vertebrae or two. But it was pretty crazy. I don't like the Mogul affiliates. They just seem like a bad gang to me. Luchasaurus was out there to try and save Christian as well. And Nick Wayne, another new up-and-comer, came out and hit Luchasaurus with a skateboard at one point, but he no-sold it and then chokeslammed Wayne onto the skateboard and carried him to the back. That also looked like it really hurt. And I'm wondering who's in charge of spinal health at AEW, because if they have some really good rehab, I think that I need to talk to him, because my back hurts a lot too, for no good reason.
Asking for a friend.
Yes. Yes. Ties are settled with both taking shots of Jepson's Malore. Okay. Well, I guess Rude Boy wins this round. Thoughts on that?
Okay. It may have been the Schnapps. I didn't hear who actually won, Kidder.
Darby Allin and Sting!
This seemed like an easily predictable match, and while I'm sure there were some crazy spots in it, I think it has a hard time following up that Stadium Stampede. That match sounds like that was so crazy and chaotic that this just doesn't sound as intense. I'm sure you got to see more of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit better, but it just, I don't know, it seems less impressive in that sense, if that flows. So I'm sure it was a fantastic match. I'm sure it really fits in the place. It just, from your description, I don't know why this is where it is on the card, and maybe would have flipped this in the Stadium Stampede.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Armchair Howard, who didn't actually watch the show.
Doesn't have to produce it.
Yeah, exactly.
The interesting piece about this is, it's basically another hardcore match after a hardcore match. And, it wasn't directly after it. There was a match in between. But the Stadium Stampede match was a huge match, and the first time that they've held the Stadium Stampede with an audience. So there's those pieces for you.
Yeah.
All right. Next on the card, Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. I picked the Ocho, Chris Jericho. This match was 14 minutes, 55 seconds long.
Well, and I'm not just saying this because I need to start piling up a comeback, or I've truly lost this. But I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. The guy's been killing it in New Japan. I think it does more for him to beat Jericho than Jericho to beat Ospreay.
All right. So
I will also tell the fans, I like the meta game here that I got going, where I say my prediction, I'm trying to watch Kidder's reaction to figure out if I need to pour a shot or not.
Just pour one anyway. It's for Rude Boy. All right. First, Jericho makes his entrance, and Fozzy is live on top of the Titantron. So they perform Judas live. It's good. And then Ospreay made his entrance, came out, did his Ospreay thing. So, lots of stuff back and forth, including Jericho getting Ospreay in the walls of Jericho. Don Callis was there. I forgot to mention that Don Callis was accompanying Will Ospreay to the ring, and Sammy Guevara accompanying Chris Jericho, even though the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society has left Jericho. They are no longer at this point appreciating Chris Jericho. Okay? So, as Don Callis came up to the apron, Sammy Guevara took advantage, hit Ospreay with the baseball bat that he was carrying. Ospreay ended up getting out of the submission. Later, Jericho used a sneaky mule kick to set up the Judas effect, but Ospreay kicked out on when he got covered. Hey-o! Thank you. Yes. Hey yo, maybe that was. We're getting some more comments. So thanks for joining us. Got a comment on the YouTube. All right. Thanks for joining us this evening. Said it 3 times, but maybe that's good. So Ospreay ended up rallying, unloaded a huge finisher, couple different finishers, executed a hidden blade and a stormbreaker. Got Jericho rolled up for the 1, 2, and 3. So wins this one. Kind of weird because Ospreay being, the hometown hero, he's booked like a baby face. You got Sheamus from Belfast, Ireland watching. Thanks for joining us on the YouTube. Hashtag please subscribe, smash that like button. On top of it, he has been a heel the entire time he's been with AEW. And during the match, Jericho was wrestling as a heel. So it was kind of backwards in that sense. Ospreay had a lot of good moves. Jericho did the classics, put on a good show. And after the match was done, Ospreay left. Sammy Guevara tried to console Chris Jericho, but Jericho shoved Sammy and then exited alone. So we'll see what happens and if Le Champion or the Ocho or Chris Jericho Appreciation Society continues. All right, final thoughts on that. Howard Blues, Jaco, happy you don't have to take a drink.
I too am happy that I don't have to take a drink. And Kidder, this is the first prediction you've missed this evening. So you finally missed one, and my comeback has started.
And match number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheamus, appreciate you joining us from Belfast, and thanks for stumbling across the show. That's what most people do, and then they turn it off because, well, they think that they stumbled in something else. So please subscribe, please like. That'd be great. Ryan needs more seals to chase. All right, closing thoughts as we move on to the second to last match of the evening.
I mean, this sounds like it was an okay match, and that's really all I got at this point.
What are you, buzzed?
Well, a little bit, actually. Yeah, a little bit. Just a wee bit.
Got to take Rude Boy's game of or lessons in how to not get buzzed when doing a drinking competition.
You know what? I'll sign up for that class and such. But we'll see. We'll see. Well, I don't know about tomorrow.
Maybe not tomorrow.
Yeah.
You hear that, Rude Boy? He doesn't want to sign up for your class. He doesn't believe in the system.
I just don't know about tomorrow, man. Tomorrow could be busy.
It's only Monday, whatever.
But it's gonna be a rough Monday.
All right. So the next match is for the AEW World Trios Championship. Your champions. Hey, thanks for the like, sub, and the laughs. Appreciate you, Sheamus. Your Trios champions are the House of Black. And, of course, with the Trios Championship matches, the House rules have a bunch of different things, but they allow the challenger to change and have add the stipulation. So, the Acclaimed are challenging House of Black. Their stipulation, no holds barred. I choose the Acclaimed.
Well, again, need to make a comeback. But I would have chosen these guys anyway because I'm not on the Acclaimed bandwagon, Kidder. It's going to be House of Black for Howard Blues.
No.
No.
Huh?
Not happening.
Scissor me, Howard?
No.
Rude Boy? Anybody? Sheamus? Okay. I'm just hoping here. Okay, this match was 10 minutes, 50 seconds, 5-0. This also featured the return of Billy Gunn, which is why it's a trios match, because you have to have 3 people for a trio, even though the House of Black technically have 4 because Julia Hart is there, but she doesn't wrestle with the... anyway. A month ago, Billy Gunn was in a trios match against House of Black with the Acclaimed. They lost. Billy Gunn felt that he was the reason why they lost and were losing, and so he hung it up. He left his boots in the ring. House of Black got a hold of the boots, threw him in a trash compactor, and destroyed him. Rude Boy apparently doesn't want a scissor either, so I'm disappointed. So that's why badass Billy Gunn made his return with the Acclaimed for tonight. So here we go, no holds barred. Julia Hart ends up getting involved because Billy Gunn's going for a dive, but she stepped in the way. The Acclaimed grabbed her, threw her down, and then ended up giving her the shiver me timbers. It's the closest Anthony Bowens has gotten to a woman like that in a while. Later, each of the challengers hit a Fame-Asser for the triple Fame-Asser on Buddy Matthews. Hart ended up pulling the official out of the ring before the 3 count could be called. The Acclaim kept fighting, trying to get this whole thing figured out. Well, they ended up hitting a mic drop combo, but they couldn't beat Brody King because, well, he's big, bad, and huge. Billy added a Fame-Asser, and the Acclaim hit a second mic drop on him, and then all 3 piled on top of Brody King for the 1, 2, and 3. The finish, and new AEW World Trios champions, the Acclaimed, and badass daddy ass. So there's that. House of Black came into the ring. They looked like they were going to be pissed and beat the crap out of them, but they handed over the titles in an honorable fashion. And, of course, since it's in England, it has a OU in the middle of honorable.
And just like that, Howard's comeback has been squashed. Cheers.
So they also celebrated by getting the biggest scissor party on earth with over the 81,000 fans in attendance, getting the scissors rolling.
We have still yet to really have the DraftKings Screwy finish of the night, Kidder.
Yeah.
That really makes me wonder about this main event. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, are you ready?
Okay, listen, I could do the transition and say, there's been enough talk. And
well, it's time for the main event.
I'd hate to take that from you, so.
Lazy goalie was pulling for your comeback.
Yeah, well. Maybe I'll pull the goalie and, in the last minute, something will happen.
Where are you pulling him to?
Listen, that was just a hockey joke. That's the best I can do.
10 beats of the bell drum, maybe. Or a vintage. That's what you need. All right, so it is time for the main event. It is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, your AEW World Champion, with the Triple B. Stole it from us, clearly. versus Adam Cole, baby. All right. This one, I was thinking along the lines of some kind of additional screwy finish because Adam Cole has some friends and they've been trying to tell him that MJF isn't his real friend and, you know, that sort of thing, right? So I was thinking there'd be some kind of interference and therefore Adam Cole would get the victory by DQ, count out, whatever, some other stipulation. Basically, Adam Cole would get the victory, MJF would retain the championship. There's my thoughts.
That's some complicated predictions. So you're going with MJF victory, or no, Adam Cole victory, MJF retains title. Well, okay, so since you're going Adam Cole, I know this doesn't let me win, but I'll take MJF to retain to try and at least shorten your lead.
Yeah. So MJF entered on the devil throne and had the devil mask and whatnot, and had that whole entrance, so it's kind of fun to see. You know, it's a little different, right? Start off the match with the classic wrestling portion of the match. This was also 29 minutes exactly. So MJF offered a handshake, but then poked Adam Cole in the eye, the classic eye rake. MJF couldn't help himself, started laughing with the crowd. Cole, then at a different viewpoint, started amping it up the rest of the way. Now Cole began to bend the rules a little bit, didn't hold back. They were both yelling and, physically assaulting each other. Cole ripped off MJF's tag team shirt because they were, of course, both wearing the Better Than You Bebe shirts, and MJF got pissed. Match played out, both men taking some extreme measures to win, but MJF couldn't pull the trigger on his best friend. He pulled out the dynamite diamond ring, was going to use it, asked the crowd yes, no, and then put it away. He couldn't do it. So, at this point, Cole went after him. MJF set up a pile driver on the commentary, but ended up bailing out. Cole did not hesitate, though, and hit the pile driver on the commentary table. Kept going along where MJF and Cole hit a double clothesline on each other because, that's their thing as the tag team. Double clothesline! So they went running past each other, running the ropes, and on the third time, smoked each other. Boom! They fell down. And the way they fell, their arms were across each other for the 1, 2, and 3. It was a double pin, a double count. So it was a draw. So that's there. And now, screwy enough as it is, Cole could not accept it, demands 5 more minutes. MJF says, no, we don't need 5 minutes. We need to do this as long as it takes to determine a winner. Howard, the ref, is at this point like having an aneurysm or something. I don't know.
I just wondering how the guys competing get to set the rules, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Well, clearly Howard the ref isn't in there. Bryce Remsburg was. And I guess that's why. So, it did not take long. As time has now restarted, the match continues before a ref bump. It wasn't just, it was a short bump, but Bryce Remsburg was like doing the thing. He's all right. Cole gains the upper hand for a suplex on the apron and a Panama Sunrise on the floor on MJF. MJF kicks out on that cover, and then MJF ends up dodging a Panama Sunrise, which Adam Cole grabs Greg Remsburg instead and hits a Panama Sunrise on him. Cole laid Remsburg out. He's done.
Good thing Howard the ref wasn't in the ring.
Yes. MJF goes into the bag of trips. This is where he really goes for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And there he's conflicted, puts it away. Here's where Roderick Strong, that's the guy's name I was looking for. He and MJF are buddies, right? But Roderick Strong is... What do you mean, no?
He's friends with Adam Cole, isn't he?
Adam Cole, yes. Sorry, I said MJF.
Good.
Thank you. I clearly did not drink enough.
That's okay. I've drunk enough for you.
Okay. So, Roderick Strong comes out, ends up hitting a low blow on MJF. Cole willingly takes advantage of it, hits a Panama Sunrise again, lowers the knee pad, hits the boom knee strike. He goes over to MJF, pulls up the leg, starts pinning, in the crowds 1, 2, 3, etc. Well, Greg Remsburg still obliterated, unconscious. It was well over 10 at this point, but Remsburg kind of wakes up, comes over and hits like a 1, 2, and MJF ends up kicking out after like a 32 count. Strong handed the world title to Cole so then he could strike MJF. Cole pulled off his own tag team shirt as a symbolic act there, but could not pull the trigger to hit MJF with the belt. Strong was pissed, left the ring. In the confusion, as Adam Cole is like, "No, don't go, man. I need you to stay out here." MJF grabs Adam Cole, rolls him up in a small package for a 1, 2, and 3. Winning is MJF officially. And that, everybody, as let's see. I got to find the right thing here. Hold on. I got to find the thing. Let me make sure. Hold on, Jaco. I'm trying to find the right thing. Here it is. Here we go. There it is. The DraftKings screwy finish of the night. That one's for you too, Rude Boy. Because I know you love that graphic. That was the screwy finish of the night. Cash only. Good thing we got Rude Boy on there. Hold. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounded very much like it was a great candidate for the screwy finish of the night. And get her with that.
Yep.
Our final scores for the evening, it would be myself in second place
2
with 7.
Oh, sorry. I should be doing it like this with a 2.
Yeah.
Huh?
Anyway.
Huh?
7 for myself, and no. Kidder wins the night with 9, and as is also tradition, when I lose this, I take a penalty shot. So, congratulations, Kidder.
Yay!
You, an excellent showing on the predictions, and
somebody quickly donate something. We'll get the sound effects and everything right as Howard takes this drink.
Yeah. Anyway,
streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs.
Anyway, cheers to you, good sir.
Cheers to you, Howard. So the show didn't specifically end there. After the match was, done, the drama intensified. Of course, Cole was devastated because he lost. MJF consoled him by replaying the scene when they lost FTR for the tag titles, except the roles were reversed there because in that match, MJF got the loss for the team. So in this one, MJF is trying to cheer up Cole because, they won the tag titles and Cole ended up throwing the title out of the way because, it's not the one that he wanted or whatever. MJF was mad, yelled at Cole because he was just using him for his phony friendship, ends up picking up the world title, throwing it at Cole, saying some F-bombs, and I don't even want this, and threw it at him. And Adam Cole was there in the corner as MJF says, "Just hit me with it," turns his back to Cole to strike him. Cole standing there with the belt, of course, like he's going to hit him. He drops it. MJF turns around to see that he dropped it, and they hug it out. Close the show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good night from London.
Yeah. So, it sounds like it was a pretty decent pay-per-view.
Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like overall a lot of good matches and not a lot of, throwaway stuff,
I must have been watching our past review shows to learn that we don't want promos and filler and extra stuff to just water the whole show down.
Well, and also probably a couple matches shorter than what they've done in the past because we didn't have the TBS title, we didn't have the TNT title defended. And I think I think cutting just a couple of matches and bringing it down to 11 versus what do they normally do? 13, 14?
Yeah.
I think that helps as well. I mean, I know we love seeing everybody on the card, but when it gets to be so long, I think it tires out everybody, the audience, and you just lose it before you even get to the main event. So,
yep. Also to mention that I have confirmed during the 2023 Own Heart Cup tournament on the July 8th episode of AEW Collision, CM Punk defeated Samoa Joe for the first time in his career. On the August 5th episode, probably the best episode of the year, Samoa Joe recapped their rivalry going back to their time in Ring of Honor when he challenged Punk to a rematch at All In so he could prove that he was better than Punk and gave him 1 week to answer. Punk did not answer Joe, who escalated by attacking Punk during his match the following week. And then on August 19th at Collision Fight for the Fallen, a disguised Punk attacked Joe and accepted the challenge, which was made official with Punk's real world championship on the line.
all right.
Just to clear up that stuff a little bit there. We miss a little bit of tea time in Wee Britain now. Thanks, Rude Boy.
Oh. Well, Kidder, any final thoughts from you about the show before we wrap this thing up?
I really like the graphics. I really liked all the pyro. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Sting and Darby Allin made their entrance with Metallica Time! Seek and Destroy. Yeah!
Nice.
I was like, what? Yeah, it was good stuff. Metallica! Yeah! And then when they won, it was played again! Yeah! So, Metallica being played at Wembley Stadium. Shoop the whoop is what Rude Boy is saying. Is that like shoop the whoop, shoop the whoop? Got some TLC?
I don't know. I don't know.
That pay-per-view isn't coming up for a while. The next one's Payback, which is Saturday night. And then Sunday night is All Out in Chicago, Illinois, You got something to say?
Just that on that kind of soul-crushing news. Kidder! We've been talking for quite a while, and I got to get up early and drive west. So it's time we wrap this show up with some cheap plugs. And because, again, on our wrestling shows, you do the majority of the talking. This time, a Howard Blues, who's tried quite a few bits of schnapps, we'll see how well he does with the cheap plugs. So everybody get the popcorn ready as I try to stumble through this. But let's start with the easiest one to start with. You can join us at our home in cyberspace, beerbluesmbs.com. That's right, beerbluesbs.com. I put it and in it the first time, so I'm going to say it again so I get it right. beerbluesbs.com.
It's on the screen, not this screen, the other screen.
Yeah, look at that. Don't listen to the words I'm actually saying. Yeah, it's our home in cyberspace. You can find out more about the show. Listen to shows there. We post them there. You can also get it from there to our merch store. Yeah, that's right. We do try and sell some merch every once in a while. Good stuff. Some pint glasses, T-shirts, weird shower curtains. I don't know why Kidder is showing me whatever he's showing me.
That's apparently the shoop to whoop for the Metallica time. That Rude Boy sent it for clarification. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. But anyway, merch store, that's the place to go if you want to get some of our swag. Also, while you are there, you can buy us a beer. The missus, Kidder's missus, donating for all of our drinking this evening, which was mostly me. So thanks. Greatly appreciated. But it is a way that you can also interact with us on the show. So make sure you do that as well. Hey, if you don't want to go to all that trouble, we do have a second merch store because apparently we're corporate and greedy. It's how we go. I don't know, Kidder. I try to make an interesting joke transition. Listen, I've been drinking. I get excuse. But we do have a merch store over on Streamlabs as well. Also, you can set up donations and such there. Yeah, so there's that. Hey, if you find us funny and entertaining, we're also on social media. So there's another place you can interact with us. We're on Facebook. A great place to see some additional things because every now and then we post additional things on there. So make sure to go over there, like and follow. Give us the old thumbs up on things as you enjoy them. We appreciate that. Of course, we're also on Instagram because, Kidder thinks we could maybe be popular with the youth, and so he's put us on the gram. Howard is too old to fall for that crap, so Howard is not on the gram. But Kidder tries.
Howard's posting stuff on the Triple B Instagram.
Only because I can do it through the Facebook Business Center. That's the only reason why, as part of our normal postings. But yes, you can join us there. If you enjoyed seeing our happy, smiley faces and watching me suffer as I drink all these shots with every wrong prediction, of course, we're on YouTube. You can find us there. Catch all of our past episodes. We have more wrestling content there, but we also have our main show, Beer, Blues, and BS, one of the best podcasts where it's just two good brothers sitting down, drinking some brews, and talking about whatever interests us. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. But check us out on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, give us some more thumbs up. Hit that notification bell. Does it do anything? I don't know. But, hit it anyway. It's a button. People like pushing buttons. And hey, I know summer's coming to an end, but if you still have one last road trip in you and you need some entertainment to go with you, we do also put this out on an audio version. Check whatever source you like to get your audio podcast from, and we are there. Everything from Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Heck, we're even on YouTube Podcasts. So Stitcher, others. I mean, really, pick one. You'll find us, and you can take us with you on the road and enjoy some nice audio sounds, especially as Kidder's gotten us into the whole ASMR thing. It's weird. I get it, but it's a thing. And with that, I think I've hit most of the major, ones that we do. And with that, I get to say the three things we end every show with, which is keep your glass at least half full, unless you're drinking this. One shot at a time is perfectly fine with that. Hey, we will be offering free beer tomorrow, so catch up with us then, and we will of course see you all down that properly hedge road English Tuscan highway. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, and hope you join us on the next episode of the Triple B. Where's this button thing? Let's push the right thing this time, shall we? Cheerio!